All right, good morning, History 2115, and welcome to week 8. All right, so this week we're going to be covering quite a bit of territory in kind of the first half of the 20th century. And so if we think about the way we understand this period of just American history in general, right, we're thinking of, the progressive era, the impact of the First World War, the Roaring '20s, the Great Depression, World War II, and the beginning stages of the Cold War. And within that, right, there is significant social change and cultural change from, first wave feminism to women's right to vote, following the First World War to early beginnings of the civil rights movement, and so on. So certainly, if we take that kind of overarching kind of trajectory of American history and focus more specifically on Native American history, we're going to cover that same time frame. But in so doing, right, what we're going to notice is that the Native American experience during this period really runs the gamut of potential opportunity to advocate for, Native rights, Native agenda, etc., to continued oppression, right? Because as we turn into that early 20th century, right, we're going to basically see kind of the end of kind of the, exterminate them mindset of the federal government to say, the movement towards boarding schools, considering boarding school reform, and eventually the beginning process of closing boarding schools to, the rise of the American Indian movement, which coincides with the civil rights movement, the modern labor movement, the African American civil rights movement, the Chicano movement, etc. And so what we're trying to understand here is as the country writ large is going through, this massive change during this period, so too does this community of Native peoples across this country. And we're also going to notice that during this period, right, there's an interesting demographic shift where we do see increased numbers of Native peoples moving from, reservations, which are obviously in extreme isolated areas, to some urban areas, and the potential opportunities, but more than likely missed opportunities that take place, and the role that, municipal, state, and federal government play in that transition and support of Native American rights and liberties in this first half of the 20th century. And so if we're taking a look at the schedule this week, you've got reading in Chapter 8, Discussion 8, Quiz 8, and certainly continue to work on the second exam study guide, which is sneaking up on us very shortly. As always, if you have questions, please feel free to reach out, and I'd be happy to answer them.